Hello everyone, this is Dawn. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to another Inspiration Collaboration Design Team Challenge. This month, the team has challenged each other to create their own background papers like DSP Designer Series paper with stamps or grunging it up with ink or other texturizing techniques. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to use the Nature Walk collection, and these are some of the papers from the DSP, and I'll probably just use a couple of the stickers from the collection. And then this is a paper that's also part of the Nature Walk collection, and it's a specialty paper, and it is called, I'm not sure what it's called. Let me find out. It is called Natural Hues, and it's like homemade paper. It's got lots of fibers and texture to it. It's really cool. So I'm going to put my journaling on top of that. And then my base is going to be the light side of Basic Beige. So the pictures that I'm going to scrapbook are continuing my Great Sand Dunes vacation. Sometimes vacations don't turn out the way they're planned, and so this was definitely one of them. So I'm going to be telling the story of where we stayed, and it was for a short time because Pixel, the small black and white one, you'll see her in a picture in just a second. She's on the one where it's a selfie and she's in the background there. When we went to the Great Sand Dunes, after we walked in the sand, Pixel was super thirsty, so I gave her a bunch of water. And then Roisin was a little confused by the container. That's Roisin. A little confused by the dog-friendly reservoir in the water bottle on how to drink from it. So she let a lot of water fall to the ground. And unbeknownst to me, Pixel was below us, lapping up that water along with a whole bunch of sand. So she took in a bunch of sand. And so after the dunes, we went back to the town of Salida. We had lunch, and then we went over to the park after lunch, and Pixel started acting like she had a tummy ache. So this is not her first rodeo. A couple of years ago, she ate something covered in gravel. So we knew the signs, and it was getting to be late in the day. So we went back to the chalet. I checked around to see if there was an emergency vet in town, and there wasn't. And the closest one was Colorado Springs. So we decided to pack up early the next morning and head back to town. So that's my title. Well, that was short. So we went to the dunes, spent the night, and cut our vacation short to take care of Pixel. The vet pumped her full of fluids, and the sand worked her way through the system. She didn't have to stay overnight at the hospital this time, and she's doing just fine now. Thank goodness. It was a very stressful night taking care of her while she was feeling sick. So she's good now, and hopefully we won't have to deal with that again. So my base, let's go ahead and get started. My base is Basic Beige. It's the light side, and I am going to grunge this up with lots of stamped images and grunge up the edges. So my stamps are from the Gears and Textures set, and I'm going to just stamp some background images. But first, I'm going to use like the circle, the coffee circle, and some of the splatters. And then I also cut a whole bunch of images using some of the specialty textured metallics. And it turned out I didn't use the swirled textures, but I pulled that out just in case. And then my title is going to be in the mini alphabet dies. Okay, so I think I need to cut my paper first so I know where to stamp. So I'm going to bring that in. First of all, I need to apologize for the quality of this video. I got a new phone and I did not adjust the settings for my editing program, and my editing program is older. So the file was humongous, and I had to do some compression and a lot of tweaking, several hours of trying to get this video to upload. So yeah, it's kind of wonky and the quality isn't great. I apologize, but I have fixed my settings and next time the videos will be better. I shot 3 more videos when I was at a retreat with the settings in the wrong place. So I'm going to tweak those files, see what I can do with them, and um, upload those videos. But going forward, I've figured it out. So no worries. Just this video I'm not too crazy about, but I love the way that the layout turned out. So okay, so I have my border strips. I wanted the script to be on the outer edge, so that's 2.5 inches. And then the green pattern paper is 3/4 of an inch. And then the horizontal strip is 3 inches, and we'll place that about 4 inches up from the bottom. And then I thought I was going to do a border strip of this pine glitter paper, but then I found this rickrack, and it's also part of the the Nature Walk collection, and it's in old olive. So I'm going to use some of that. You just see a little peek of it behind the pictures. So yeah, I thought I would add that. So my pictures are going to be lined up. I'm getting some more magnets to hold things and keep them from floating around. Um, my pictures are going to be set up kind of like this. That's the chalet we stayed at. And that's me with Pixel in the back seat, all seat belted up so that we could drive back. And just some pictures of the grounds. And I printed my journaling on some Avery paper, and it's actually going to be clear once I put it on that natural hues paper. Okay, so off camera, I cut mats in that patterned green paper, and then I pulled some stamps that I want to do some of my background stamping with. So I'm just making little tick marks so that I know the placement of where things are and kind of a general idea of where I should stamp. This is crumb cake, and I'm going to stamp several of these images just all over randomly. This one's kind of a coffee stain, and then we've got some splatters and some big splats, and then sort of a textural striped image that can peek out from below some photos. And then I'll go ahead and do the same thing on the right page. And this is what I meant about the video being kind of wonky. I had to speed it up to upload it, and then I'm trying to slow it down to be able to turn it into a video that you can watch. So really, but yeah, it turns out good. So I really wanted to show you this. Okay, so I've got my random stamping, and this is an edge distressor from Tim Holtz. You can also use the edge of your scissors, and I'm just roughing up the edges of the outer edges of both of these pieces of cardstock. And then I have a sponge dauber, and I'm using pecan pie, and I'm inking around the edges, and I'm going pretty heavy with my ink. I want it to just look like kind of old burned paper and distressed. And then I'm going to continue with distressing, and this is pecan pie, and I'm just smushing it on my glass board here. And then this is a shimmer brush. It's a clear shimmer brush from Close to My Heart, but you can use a Wink Stella. And then I have a fan brush and just any old block, or you could use your finger or just anything, and tap splatters all over. So depending on the angle you hold your brush and the size of your brush and the amount of liquid you load onto your brush will determine the size of your splatters. And I just wanted some sprinkles of you know, shininess and what is the word I'm looking for? Just glitter and just some bling to be splashed around. And it's really hard to see on camera. I will have close-up shots that are clear that will be over on my Facebook page and Instagram account, so you can take a look. It's really hard for the camera to pick it up, but it looks cool in real life. Okay, this is the natural hues paper, and I've roughed up the edges, and then I've inked around the edges, and then I'm taking a blending brush with that same pecan pie ink, and I'm gonna ink over this so that I can kind of get it a little bit darker, and it brings out more of the texture. So we'll clean up glass mat here, and I'm gonna do some more grunging up of these pattern papers with the edge distressor, and then I'm bringing in a water paintbrush, and this makes it a little bit easier to do some tearing and distressing. So I'm just dabbing it to make like a peekaboo area right there, and then I'm drawing a line down the edge so that I can get a more precise torn edge, if that's a thing, because I don't want to like start tearing and tear the whole thing in half, and for it to get out of control. So, okay, so then off camera, I did a little inking, and then I also tore the edges of all the other pieces. Okay, so things are gonna get lined up like this, and that's that peekaboo spot. And I've got a scrap piece of this pattern paper, and I'm just gonna tuck it under there. And the pattern paper will just peek out. And then I'm going to do the same thing on the right page. So we'll go ahead and line these up, and then we'll tuck that other piece of pattern paper under that peekaboo area. Cool. All right. So now we'll bring in our journaling block and our pictures. And then I created a larger mat so that I can put the journaling block and that 3x3 picture of me on it. And I'll add some embellishments over to the right. And then I've got all of my pictures with their mats. Let's keep this from floating around and put a magnet down. All right. Okay. So let's place all our pictures back, kind of where I want them to go. And then, yeah. So then I realized I forgot the blue strip down the middle. Here it is. Okay, so I'll fix that. We'll get everything down and tack down so it's not floating around anymore. Okay, so this is Nature's Symphony, and I've cut some of the greenery from this in Old Olive, and I also did Mossy Meadow, but it turns out I'm not going to use the Mossy Meadow. I like the Old Olive, the way it pops against the Mossy Meadow and the Secret Sea papers. So I'm just going to tuck some in, and then I cut a whole bunch of these gears and textures from I used the dyes, and then I used the textured metallics, and I thought I was going to use a variety of the metallics, but I decided that the copper worked the best. So I'm just going to pull the copper gears and bits that I die cut, and I'm going to scatter all of those around in my embellishment clusters. And then I've got plenty for another layout or cards. These embellishments, they make great cards, lots of fun. So they will not go to waste. Okay, so this is an old close to my heart tool that it's a sticker picker-upper, and I use it to pick up the corners of my pictures if they're giving me fits and they won't come up. So you'll see me use that a couple of times. And these are more of the gears and textures. There's a tiny little screw, a little Phillips head screw that you could die cut. And we'll tuck some more of these gears in all around, and then we'll get them glued down off camera. And I'll add some more. Okay. Looking good. All right, so making sure that's glued down. This is, I went into my stash, and it's an old embellishment set, and they're called adhesive backed metallic gems, and they have copper ones. So I'm going to scatter a whole bunch of those around. just to add a little more bling, because you can always add more bling, right? So we'll get all of those around. So don't be afraid to scrapbook your not so great trips and things that happen, because it's good to document those too. So I'll bring this closer to the camera. And like I said, I'll have still shots over on my socials. I'll put a playlist at the end of this video so you can check out the other inspiration collaboration design team videos. We all go live at the same time, so you can hop from video to video. And then I'll also put a link in the description below so you can find that playlist. And also I'll put a list of all the supplies that I used, and you can do a little shopping on my website. I'd sure appreciate that. And here's a close-up, lots clearer, right? And if you haven't subscribed yet, please hit that subscribe button. I'd sure appreciate it. And then you'll be able to find all of my videos. And thanks for watching.